Imagine this: a kid born in a poor industrial town, a place where the sky was always gray with the smoke of progress and the weight of poverty. He had no internet, no branding tools, no social media to broadcast his dreams to the world. He was just another face in a crowded house. Yet he builds a global empire so powerful that decades later, his name still generates hundreds of millions. That kid was Michael Jackson. But here's the real question: how did he do it? How did he move from a tiny room in Indiana to the boardroom of a global corporation? How did he go from nothing to becoming one of the richest entertainers ever? And what financial lessons can you learn from him today? Today, we are going beyond the music. We are breaking down the financial blueprint of an empire built on discipline and ownership. Welcome back to Yearn to Grow. This channel is about understanding finance and insurance clearly and calmly. No pressure, no shortcuts, just clarity. Today, we're looking at the financial genius of the king of pop. We're uncovering the strategies that turned talent into an untouchable asset class. Michael Jackson didn't start rich. He was born in Gary, Indiana, a small industrial city where life was measured by the shifts at the steel plant. His family lived in a tiny house on 2300 Jackson Street. 11 people sharing a space that barely felt large enough for three. His father, Joe Jackson, worked long, grueling hours in a steel plant. He knew the value of a dollar because he had to fight for every single one of them. Money was tight, very tight. There was no safety net, no inheritance, and no room for error in the family budget. Every cent was dedicated to survival. For the Jacksons, the American dream wasn't a promise. It was a target they had to hit every single day. But his father saw something that wasn't on the company balance sheet. He saw talent. He saw a rhythm in his children that could be harnessed. He saw a way out. He understood that while labor was cheap, unique talent could be the most valuable commodity in the world. So he formed a group with his kids, the Jackson Five. This wasn't a school project, it was a high-stakes business venture from day one. Joe Jackson ran the group with the same intensity he brought to the steel mill. He demanded perfection, because perfection was the only way to get out. And here's the first financial lesson: skill is your first capital. When you have no cash, your ability to perform at a world-class level is your equity. They didn't have money, they didn't have connections, but they had a skill that was so refined, it became undeniable to the market. They rehearsed for hours every day. While other kids were playing in the streets of Gary, the Jackson brothers were in the lab. They were mastering their craft with military precision. They weren't just learning songs, they were building a product that could scale. That consistency became their first real asset. In finance, we look for predictable results. The Jacksons delivered perfection every single time. This is the same principle for any entrepreneur. Your ability to consistently deliver high-quality work is the foundation of your financial brand. Soon, their skill got them into the room. They signed with Motown Records, the premier hit factory of the era. The leverage had shifted. The machinery of a major label was now behind them. They were no longer just a family band. They were a corporate asset with global reach. And just like that, income started. The thousands of hours of unpaid rehearsal were finally converting into cold, hard cash flow. It was the first taste of what talent, when properly managed and marketed, could generate in the real-world economy. It was a revelation. That's how you build financial stability. You don't wait for a miracle. You build a skill so undeniable that the market has no choice but to pay you. Whatever your field is, finance, tech, art, your first capital is your competence. Master it and the money will follow the mastery. But Michael didn't stop at being just a singer in a group. He had a vision that went far beyond being part of a collective. He understood something very early that most high-earning professionals miss. If you want more money, you need more control over your output. He knew that in a group, his upside was capped. He was sharing the revenue and the decision-making power. He wanted the whole pie, so he went solo. He took the massive risk of leaving the safety of the group to build his own personal empire, and the gamble was legendary. The explosion started with Off the Wall. It was the first step in proving that Michael Jackson was a financial force of nature on his own. And then came Thriller. It didn't just sell, it redefined the entire commercial music landscape for decades to come. It was a black swan event. Thriller became the best selling album of all time. We're talking about tens of millions of units moving across every single continent. The revenue from that single project was enough to fund a small nation, but for Michael, it was just the fuel for his next move. Now, here's where it gets interesting financially. Michael wasn't just collecting royalties, he was building a multi layered income machine. Global concert tours generated hundreds of millions in ticket sales. Each city was a major revenue event for the Michael Jackson brand. The efficiency of his tours was a masterclass in logistics and monetization. He was selling out stadiums while selling the experience. Then came merchandising, everything from posters to clothing. He was monetizing his image in ways that hadn't been seen before in music. People weren't just buying songs, they were buying the brand. Every piece of merch was a micro-investment in the Michael Jackson economy. And licensing deals? Companies paid massive premiums just to be associated with his name and his revolutionary sound. Pepsi, Nike, and more. He understood that his brand had a value that went beyond the Billboard charts. He was a global ambassador for himself. But most artists and most high-earning professionals stop there. They work, they earn, they spend, they hit a ceiling of their own time. Even a superstar is limited by the number of hours in a day. If you don't perform, you don't get paid. That's a dangerous place to be. Michael knew that if he stopped touring or stopped recording, the massive income would eventually slow down. He needed a different gear. He knew he needed something more permanent, something that would grow even if he never stepped on a stage again. He needed assets. That's how you scale your influence into an economy. You don't just work for the money, you build systems that work for you. In your own career, look for ways to disconnect your income from your hours. Whether it's through intellectual property or equity, ownership is the goal. This is where he became financially untouchable. In 1985, Michael made one of the most calculated moves in the history of business. He wasn't looking at the next hit single or a new tour. He was looking at the underlying assets that governed the entire music industry. He understood that songs are like real estate. They produce rent every time they are used. He wanted to be the landlord of pop music. He saw the future of royalties while others were focused on record sales. He went after the most valuable catalog in existence. Specifically, he acquired the catalog of the Beatles through ATV Music Publishing for $47.5 million. It was a staggering sum at the time. His own lawyers and business advisors told him he was crazy. They thought he was overpaying for nostalgia. But Michael saw the long-term cash flow. He knew that Yesterday and Let It Be would be played as long as music existed. He was buying a legacy. He wasn't just buying music, he was buying a share of every radio station, every film studio, and every commercial producer on the planet. Why this matters is simple. Instead of just earning from his songs, he started earning from other artists' songs. Thousands of them. Every time a Beatles song played on the radio or was used in a movie or featured in a commercial, Michael Jackson got paid, automatically. Lesson 2. Ownership beats income. A high salary is a temporary stream, but owning a cash-generating asset is a permanent reservoir. Most people work for money, trading their hours for a paycheck. Michael made money work for him, even while he was sleeping or on vacation. The Beatles' catalog alone grew in value exponentially. It became the cornerstone of his financial empire, outperforming his own record sales. By the time it merged with Sony to form Sony ATV, the value had reached billions. This is the power of picking the right asset at the right time. That's how you achieve true wealth. You stop focusing on how much you can earn today and start focusing on how much you can own for tomorrow. In your life, ask yourself, what do I own that will still be paying me 10 years from now? If the answer is nothing, you need to change your strategy. Michael Jackson wasn't just an artist. He became a global brand that transcended the music itself. He was a symbol of excellence. He had a signature style, a signature dance, and a unique identity that made him instantly recognizable in every corner of the world. His brand was so powerful that it crossed every cultural and linguistic barrier. He was as famous in Tokyo as he was in Los Angeles. Even without the internet or social media, he became the most recognized face on the planet. He was the first truly global celebrity. He turned attention into money. He understood that in the modern economy, attention is the ultimate currency. If people look, they pay. He mastered the art of staying in the public eye. Whether it was through his music, his videos, or his personal life, he controlled the narrative. Lesson 3: Attention equals currency. When you build a personal brand that is distinct and valuable, you unlock unlimited monetization power. His brand was so strong that anything he touched became instantly more valuable. He was his own most powerful marketing engine. He turned his unique identity into a brand. He didn't try to fit in. He stood out so much that the world was forced to pay attention to him. That level of attention translated into unlimited power in negotiations. He could demand terms that no other artist could even dream of. That's how you build a legacy. You turn your unique identity into a brand that the world cannot ignore. You become the asset yourself. In your career, don't just be another resume. Build a brand that stands for a specific value. Be the person that people search for by name. Here's the truth. There are many artists today with better technology, more tools, and more reach than Michael ever had in his prime. We live in a world of infinite content and instant access. Anyone can record a song and upload it to the world in a matter of seconds. But still, no one has replaced Michael Jackson. His dominance remains unchallenged decades after his peak. The throne is still his. Why is his impact so permanent while others fade away? Why does his name still command so much respect and capital in the market? Because he mastered three things simultaneously: skill, ownership, and identity. Most people only ever master one of these if they're lucky. By combining world-class skill with deep asset ownership and a unique personal brand, he created a financial and cultural moat. That combination creates a legacy that is immune to market fluctuations or technological shifts. It's a structure that only gets stronger with time. When you master these three pillars, you're no longer just a participant in the economy. You become a permanent fixture of it. You become irreplaceable. So what can you learn from the financial journey of Michael Jackson? It's not about becoming a pop star. It's about the universal principles. His life is a masterclass in how to build wealth from nothing by focusing on the right things at the right time. It's a roadmap for all of us. Start with your skill. Perfect it until you are the best in your field. Don't look for shortcuts. Look for mastery that the world can't ignore. Stay consistent even when you're broke and no one is watching. The hours you put in when you have nothing are what will eventually give you everything. Build multiple income streams so you aren't dependent on a single source. Monetize your primary skill in as many ways as possible. Merchandise, licensing, consulting. Diversification is your shield against the volatility of any one market. It's the key to maintaining your lifestyle and your vision long term. And most importantly, own assets, not just earnings. Shift your focus from the size of your paycheck to the size of your portfolio. Own the rights. Ownership is where true freedom lies. It's the difference between working for a living and having a living that works for you. Aim for ownership in everything you do. Turn your identity into a brand. Don't be afraid to be unique. In fact, your uniqueness is your most valuable competitive advantage in a crowded market. Because, in the end, money doesn't follow talent alone. It follows discipline, it follows vision, and most of all, it follows ownership. Be the person that owns the narrative. That's exactly how Michael Jackson built a financial empire from absolutely nothing. He didn't just play the game, he bought the stadium. And that's exactly how you can build yours. Start today, focus on the principles, and build something that lasts. The blueprint is in your hands. Wealth isn't just about what you have in the bank. It's about the freedom you've built through the assets you own and the skills you've mastered. Every move you make today should be a step toward that freedom. Every hour of practice, every asset acquired, every brand decision made, it all counts. Go out there and build your empire. One skill at a time, one asset at a time, one day at a time. The world is waiting for your brand. If this explanation helped you see things a little more clearly, that is exactly what this channel is meant for. We want to provide you with the mental models for growth. We will continue breaking down finance and insurance concepts step by step in a way that feels practical and manageable. No hype, just real strategy. If you find this helpful, please like the video. It helps the channel grow and allows us to reach more people who are looking for clarity in their financial life. Subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more masterclasses coming your way, covering everything from global economy concepts to individual success mindsets. Turn on notifications so you do not miss future videos. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and most importantly, keep yearning to grow. We'll see you in the next one.